my very first main in League of Legends, so soft spot for that champion for me. Regardless, the lock-ins are there. Mordekaiser in the top lane here for Team Liquid should have very good interactions into a Taric composition. If you can ult him before the fight starts or early enough, he can't give his teammate invulnerability, and you just solo an armor-stacking Taric on a magic damage champion, that's going to feel really good, and that pick is pretty useless.
Yeah, and I always love trying to think intelligently about breaking compositions with Mordekaiser, because you get your 1v1, but more importantly, you break synergies of the enemy team. Like the Yuumi grabbing one where you can, pop her off, or not letting the, Kalista and Taric work together. Any sort of synergy that you can break there it really adds extra value to the pick, in addition to it being a strong 1v1 top laner.
Yeah, definitely strong overall. So I feel like as we got sort of time to fill here before we actually start the game, as we broadcast the games on a delay for everything, it still feels like we've got a very sort of obvious team fight composition here on the Team Liquid side. Tactical is set up with a ton of supporting cast members. The bot lane, it's going to be interesting, right? Because Kalista outlanes Aphelios, but Bard outlanes Taric. And so this 2-on-2 is sort of a little bit volatile, where all the nerfs to Aphelios over the course of time, they finally drop him from the #1 spot in pro play for the first time since he's been really released to the world. They have been consistently to his early game output. His early game healing is worse, his early game spell damage is lower, but level 13 onwards, he's the exact same champion he's been since almost forever. So, the weakness is there in the early game, and Kalista is poised to defeat it, but Cortege on Bard is going to do so much to kind of temper that.
Yeah, that's why I got so excited for that pickup, because it really does add the extra dynamic to this lane. And, of course, should be able to get off consistent harassment anytime you do have Bofrost stepping up as well. So I'm really excited to see what he can do with this pick. And if Core JJ gets off some of those really impactful Bard roams, one of my biggest loves is when I'm a jungler and I have a Bard on my team, getting some of those jungle invades, help with getting the vision, help with getting mid lane ganks off, that type of stuff. Even a Bard, just as soon as you're level 6 and trying to lend a tempered fate, even if you don't fully commit to a lane, can have very big and real impacts. And Core JJ is one of our support players that has been highlighted over the years so many times for a lot of those types of big plays.
Yeah, definitely going to be one to watch for. Of course, the other sides of the map, right? You've got, Spica, who's got, he's got the Kayn in there, which is really exciting. I mean, Kayn, it used to be an LPL only champion earlier in the year, and it was one that people were like, "Are you sure you want to play this one?" But I think it's actually a decent time to talk a little bit more at length about the jungle changes, right? Where in 10.8, late game jungle camps are worth more experience than before, and that can change player behavior as well as champion choices and how they play those out in the game.
Yeah, and Kayn is very good at farming because of the Q that I mentioned. Like the Q buff is the single biggest buff that Kayn has gotten in so long, and it actually prompted that pullback little nerf that they did to Ross, like we were talking about. That is always going to be true, that his farming is better now, and like you're saying, it's in a world where that is good. Plus, if you're intelligent about getting the correct color orbs, trying to get your red orbs so you can get your transformation to have your CC for your knockup with your W, have all of this extra tankiness from the healing that you're going to get, then you become a very, very big factor in the team fights for your team. And it's this weird power spike that not a lot of other junglers have when Kayn gets the transformation. I kind of like how that changes the game and changes your choices and what lanes you're trying to go to as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. So yeah, to just kind of recap what happens, as you're saying, sort of the early game jungling is very, very good. The typical Kayn build is 3 points Q, and then you go max the W. So the first 13 levels, he's actually got a better cooldown on Q than he would have pre-buff. Obviously, that's all very, very relevant. And the big thing to really look at is in those later levels, though, from about minute 15 onwards, when the jungler's about level 9, and then for the rest of the game, these camps are worth more experience. And what's interesting is normally about 50 minutes on into the game is when the junglers really need to play more around their team. It's when more of the objectives are up, right? Baron spawns at 20. The turret plates have just dropped. They're now really fragile and easy to kill. It's when you start, trying to knock things down. But that's also when you have the most incentive to gain experience, because now these camps are worth more. You're getting 50 more XP per clear. It's a, reasonably substantial amount of your experience budget. And it's pulled some players towards, well, but I really want to get to Krugs because that's like 18 more XP than before, and that's relevant to my interests.
And it's even just opened some more players' eyes. Even though the buffs aren't till the average level 9, I've seen more players in the early game being like, oh yeah, I forgot a little bit about how good efficient farming is. And so that's why I really like the opening game from Cloud9, as we've got some more time here to talk, where Blabber, he did play the Olaf aggressively and was able to also keep up hard farming these camps. So that's why we always talk about pathing and efficiently being able to plan out your next few moves. All right, we're into the game. Forget that history lesson. Be efficient as a jungler, though. Time is money. That's all you have to remember. Always be killing something or placing wards.
Hey, Broken Blade bringing the Royal Youth emote, his old team back in Turkey. I love it. Bringing it over, bringing the swag into the LCS here. Has been a good top laner in his time on TSM so far, and one that is worth putting pressure on too. And again, it's my biggest question on TSM is how often does TSM play around top side versus around bottom side? Because speaking realistically, as you're talking about efficient jungle pathing, honestly can't do both well. You can do both to a mediocre level, or you can do one of those lanes very, very well. And I want to see which one it's going to be, because both Doublelift and Broken Blade are worthy and really want to get a lot of jungle attention. And so that is a question for me. It's my number one question of TSM this split, is how that shakes out. The other question, of course, on TL is how well does Coach Jat turn Team Liquid around? 7-11 in the spring split was not a score line that a 4-time back-to-back champion is supposed to get. And the end result is a new head coach and a new AD carry, and Tactical taking over the reins down there as the Wolves spawn, and Speaks and have no problem knocking those down.
Yeah, we can even talk a little bit more about orb generation on Kayn, because they've done so many little tweaks to it, and it's a little bit hidden knowledge from a lot of players. And so they've done a lot of little feel-good things, like you being able to build up this kind of extra orb generation if you haven't gone to hit a champion in a while. So it's ended up being a lot of players do this thing where, they farm a bit, then once it builds up a little, you want to go at least touch someone. And usually you want to touch a melee champion, because usually people are looking for the red form. And then kind of balance it out, go do what you need to do, keep up with your efficiency, and kind of balance that little bit of an extra objective. But I like that. Immediately, camera down to bottom lane, Freak.
Yep, they're battling back and forth. Level 2 goes to the TSM side. CoreJJ did go Relic Shield, but end of the day, the threat of Clissoteric hitting you means he, doesn't really get infinite time to auto-attack the minions. TSM gets the early push, almost perfect CS in the first 2 waves, but it's not going to turn into an all-in. With the red gun, the sustain on Aphelios is just absolutely absurd. The poke doesn't tend to matter. That stun's not going to mean too much. Core's reasonably safe. Obviously has the mana to put down some healing pads, and the level 2 for the bot lane on both sides is not much of an issue.
TSM being able to take that brush control as well. Get a little harassment down there. Guardian proc denies some of the extra damage, but it looks like it will be a push-in, and they do have Trundle down on the bottom half of the map, so it should be split Scuttle Crabs as well. For Tactical and CoreJJ, they can rely on Broxa to get that protection for them on this half of the map. Because as we were saying in the intro, Doublelift is kind of a team warping and game warping player, which causes a lot more focus down towards that side of the map. So they'll be happy to get to that bottom Scuttle Crab for themselves as they look at their old teammate.
Well, nearly the stun landed there from Bjergsen, putting some damage on towards Jensen, but overall going to be okay. Broxa wants to head down to the bottom side. This is a fairly standard Trundle path, and also has gotten around the ward. So here comes CoreJJ walking forward. TSM knows to be afraid. This kind of bleeds a bit of info that Trundle might be down there. Well, going to knock down the ward. Can't quite get it, so that brush is controlled. Not anymore, though.
I'm 90% sure that Broxa was seen on the ward up by mid lane by the ramp. That died a little bit after he passed. So I'm pretty sure there was, just the bottom lane of TSM seeing that transition on the minimap and then utilizing that information. So good job by them, and good job by the communication of the team. Broxa, I know specifically, was like, hey, Double Lift, good luck today. Hope you meet me in the bottom lane soon. Top side, though, he's made a switch.
Big fight. Brock's still going very, very slowly, right? He's not coming forward to land a pillar. He's not doing much. He's there to make sure there's no kind of dive from Spica. There isn't. He's going to walk on his ward, though, and knock it down. Is spending some time up here, though, right? This is about, 20 seconds or so used. That was not on Krugs, was not on Raptors. Not saying it's wrong by any means. Covering your laners is obviously very valuable. Broxa, obviously a very, very smart player, but that is how he chose to spend his time. Now up to this one. Flash, though, used by Tactical. Sorry, our other side. I see TL, and I'm like, wait, where's Double Lift? And I'm just wrong, but Tactical doesn't flash away from what would have been a Biofrost flash stun as they try to summon us down there. The Spica gank doesn't amount to much more than just that, but it is now a flashless Aphelios, which is a gank target.
Yeah, and honestly, a flash burned on the Aphelios is very valuable here for this team. I want to note something, that even though Team Liquid had the Scuttle Crab, because Kayn is so mobile in the ganks, Spica was able to go over the back of the Dragon Pit and then even use the Q to jump over the little nub of that wall to avoid the vision on the Scuttle Crab. Still did get seen by the ward when he was a little bit closer, but that extra little distance allowed them to threaten Tactical that much quicker and actually burn the flash rather than them backing off instantly.
Speaking of small advantages, I got to point out what Core's doing right here. He's stopping the recalls. He's going to let Doublelift go back. So Doublelift gets to finally recall, but notice that Tactical got a BF Sword recall, which is like the ideal first back, right? Get that BF Sword, get back in the lane. That's your first power spike if you can get it. Core JJ stopped Doublelift's first recall, and he stopped Biofrost's second recall. He spent his time to try to prevent that bot lane from being interesting on the TSM side. So this actually gives more time than normal for Tactical and co to get some pressure down here. They're not going to get too much poke down, but it is going to delay some of Doublelift's farm.
Okay, Scribe's Bloom also used here over the Dragon, and they will finish off any of that extra vision that TSM was able to leave behind, since Tactical is on the BF Sword and Core JJ pushing up with him. They feel safe with this. Mid lane looks about 50-50, and Spica's on the way for a possible contest here.
Noah's not in the pit anymore. Goes to the wall, sees what is happening. Smite is up on both sides. Level 5 for both junglers here as well. Is the fight going to break out? Almost in Smite range. He can't go in anymore. Easy Smite picked up, and here comes the engage. A knockback. Bjergsen's not going to get away. Or not going to get killed as he flashes away.
Right, he gets 2 flashes there. Biofrost now
in a lot of danger. He had flashed to attack the Aphelios. No way out. First blood comes through. Another TSM player comes out for Core JJ. His second, as Doublelift is rooted, and No also has to flash out. Spica on the chase. Broxa could be a target. Bjergsen has his ulti, has the chance at a stun. Big damage and Tactical, but he stays alive. Gets the root back into Bjergsen. The slow comes through for Core JJ. There's the teleport. Impact says mid die and picks up that one. Now Broken Blade is running around, but he's going to do his very best to kite. Death Realm finally winds down, gets pulled right back into the squad. They cannot kill him, though. He's able to slink back to his turret. But look at that. Team Liquid up 1,500 gold.
And Broxa with the force on the Dragon, having the extra push from the bottom lane there with Tactical and Core JJ, interrupting the backs, keeping the minion waves pushed up. They got a little bit of extra time to go burn that Dragon down. Broxa's able to heal so much off of smiting and executing this Dragon because Trundle heals that percentage of health of things that die around him. So that gives Jensen the prompt to go in. He gets double flashes. Spica and Bjergsen get burned, and then Core JJ's Bard. Magical journey right on over to Doublelift's new support, and they're able to take him down. Broxa then able to get out with the extra speed and flash here. And as you know, Bjergsen then overcommits on it, trying to take down Tactical because they know that he has no flash, but he has the heal to survive the Syndra burst, and since Impact is able to teleport in right after the snare from Tactical lands, that is going to be an extra kill given over to Team Liquid.
From a Broken Blade, you see he ults at the very end of the Death Realm timer to maximize movement speed to kite away. He knows his only way out of that fight is running as fast as he can. So that was actually pretty smart to stay alive, though he did have to lose all his summoners in the process. And we go back to the live game state where Broxa gets a free Scuttle Crab, and the duo lane of Team Liquid has already gone up to the top side. And you can see the gold income right now. Broxa with the kill and some good farm is the #1 breadwinner so far. Jensen obviously a decent beneficiary as well with the farm he's been picking up.
And TSM here, it's very difficult to work around the kind of early weak stages of Kayn. I like that Team Liquid are actually forcing this issue, and they force the objective. They press on the attack. They remain proactive. This is one of the things that I heard Broxa talking about to Emily Rand in one of her interviews in review from Spring. Well, let's get a little action first.
Yeah, it's a good stun. Ulti's available, so they cannot guarantee the kill in the Biofrost, so instead Doublelift is the target, but the root is not available. Tempered Fate is, though. Broxa can't be part of this fight. They'll have some slows. The ulti comes in to guarantee it. CoreJJ gets kill credit and goes right back over to his team to make sure that the Enraged version, the Rift Herald, can be theirs as well.
Who won the breakup, Freak? So far in the first 10 minutes, it seems like Team Liquid winning the breakup with Doublelift as they are able to take him down once again there and rack up another objective on top of it. First one was Team Liquid forcing objective, taking the fight afterward. Big pick there with CoreJJ on Magical Journey. This time around, though, you started off with the kill. So much easier to pick up this Rift Herald and then quickly transition into some more turret plates here. Tactical and CoreJJ just mining that gold away right off the turret.
Yeah, a lot of this honestly does feel like Brox's difference. This is the jungler that Team Liquid wanted when they picked him up in the spring split. He didn't quite have this impact almost the entirety of the first half of the year, but you can see he's been very aggressive. He's getting a lot done. The gold lead kind of given over by their first kills. The Herald now showing up now as well, really getting a ton of gold over to tactical, and it feels like he's having a much better summer split so far.
Yeah, okay. So that reminded me. Let me just finish the little 2 points from the Broxa interview. He specifically mentions wanting the team to be flexible, be able to play off all lanes, which is kind of generic. Pretty much all players say that, as they say, nice stun off CoreJJ onto the wall. They kite back from the Biofrost stun, and then Doublelift overextends right next to a red-white gun of Velios, and Tactical with the Shuriken is able to take him down. But the other thing that he also mentioned is Broxa, when looking back at Spring, he kept on seeing points in their games in his review of why are we not taking this fight? Why are we being so safe? Why are we not being proactive in our attack? And even looking at his own play. So happy to see here that this self-reflection has been realized in game already, and they're making a lot of moves. That being said, TSM now pushing back, getting some turret plays of their own.
All right, speaking now in this fight, great stun on Impact, who is alone in a 1 versus almost 3, but seemingly not a lot of threat out of him, so he's going to be just fine knocking these down. Broxa getting some alone time in the bottom side, though, of Felios solo push against this Aatrox. With an equal level situation, going to get a no-problem Mountain Drake pickup. Impact probably going to turn as best he can. Obviously is bleeding some plates to have been taken down up there already. But Broxa will finally cement this advantage, and that is 2 Drakes in for Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's a dream scenario for Trundles to be able to play a lot of PvE early, just whacking away at some of these dragons, these neutral objectives. And he's also had a very good impact on the ganks that a lot of these plays have been set up by the utility from CoreJJ's Bard. So really good use of these champions that Team Liquid were able to draft and kind of playing to their strengths. Meanwhile, there's CoreJJ roaming down to bottom side while TSM are setting up a play mid.
All right, pushing forwards. Decent damage to the ulti, forcing the flash out of Jensen's afraid of getting stunned out by the Taric and has to run away, but this now means pressure onto the mid lane. TSM haven't killed a turret just yet, but they're getting a lot of plate gold off of various lanes. 2 in the top lane, at least 1 here in mid, but they're going to back off after those auto attacks as the gold goes over. TSM getting a bit of money to get the game a bit closer, but they are still down 3,000 in this one.
Yep, they're still within striking distance, and some things to rely on coming up here for TSM. All is not doomed yet. You still have the transformation power spike to look forward to with Spica. You still have the playmaking of your Kalista Taric teamfight possibility, and your Syndra is about to hit level 11. So once Bjergsen gets rank 2 in the ultimate, you have so much more threat. All that being said, though, Team Liquid, this is their game to run. Yeah. They've got a completely open bottom side. They are already dragon stacking at a very quick pace at 14 minutes, and should be able to set up for an easy consecutive third one to be able to force that Dragon Soul point. So I really like Team Liquid's position.
Now, second turret goes down. All the plates picked up on both those turrets now. TSM sadly only on a few plates themselves, not able to push it any farther in the top lane. As plates drop, that turret stays alive. The gold lead grows to over 4,000 as Team Liquid are handily in control. As you mentioned, not past the point of no return. Certainly winnable for TSM, just an uphill battle as they wait for these power spikes to come through. Blue buff going to go over to Bjergsen. That'll help a little bit as well. Luden's Echo is done, so he's got some decent damage. But Tactical, so far, no defensive stats, right? So as soon as Bjergsen hits level 11, gets that rank 2 ultimate, the chance at trying to kill Aphelios is there. There's not a ton of peel on the Team Liquid lineup. Yes, you can point and click heal from the Bard, but it's not that strong overall. He's gone for Shirelias as more engaged power. No, Redemption or Athene's Unholy Grail or other, big healing ticket items. So, potentially backline access can happen, and TSM can find their way in that way.
Yeah, I think it's really important that they get Spica his transformation for Kayn, because Kayn is actually very difficult to peel. Even for somebody like Mordekaiser, who can ult you and literally take you out of the fight, Kayn's own ultimate is a good answer, because once you're inside with Mord, then you ult him and you kind of waste more time and wait out the duration there. But Team Liquid are just pressing straight ahead, not giving any extra time to TSM.
And I really like the decision-making by Tactical. He's been actually really saving the Chakrams for every time he's going for a turret siege, right? He went through all of Red Gun, all of Green Gun, has still got the Chakrams ready to go, so that when it's finally time to the turret, he's like, all right, now I'll go for the bonus damage because he's a spell to get the minis, and I'm in melee range, so my auto attack speed is faster, and it allows him to be a very, very fast sieging champion, which is a smart optimization. So I'm sure plenty of you watching already know this optimization, but for those who don't, try to save Chakrams for turret damage. Really, really good.
Yep, I love it. Seeing it on turret damage, on epic objectives that you can also get super close to.
Yeah.
And like you were alluding to in Champion Select when we were going over the strengths of the various teams here, Aphelios very quickly on the way to the crit multiplying build here. Stun does land on Core JJ.
Big damage, forces exhaust. Ulti comes out. That should be a 3-man route, and here comes the re-engage. A stun on Abraxa. Kayn over the top. Gonna get some damage, but Spica is going to drop right away. Terracolt comes down. Biofrost gets 4, and they get a kill into Core JJ. TSM is on the board as it's going to be Doublelift killing his old lane mate. Biofrost, though, stuck in the Death Realm. Not going to have an easy way out of this one, and he's going to drop to Braxa. TL win another fight and kite away.
See what they can get after it, because the Rift Herald is up. Jensen and Tactical should be able to control the minion wave by themselves, so 2 objectives for 1 after the victory in the team fight here. 2 kills for 1 as well, and Team Liquid, can they finish it off? Not with the last minion quite there. Syndra's very good at trying to stuff some of those low minion count pushes. They will be able to get the Rift Herald.
Herald's going to be no problem at all. The Drake is up in 6 seconds, and Brox probably just walks his way down to fight for it. Now, the one positive thing for TSM is that TL mostly did not get to recall to buy new items on everybody. So some of that gold is not being spent, and TSM are there right away. Speak over the wall, double up the same. Down to 2,500 health. Core JJ doesn't have ulti to delay this. Goes for a stun, but this should be a pretty easy smite, and it's going to be picked up, so at least the Drake on the board. But now can TSM kite away? As Core JJ is a little bit in the front of the pit. Nice knock up out of Jensen. Has his ulti on the Azir. TSM chooses to not take the fight. Broken Blade can jump the wall as needed, and it's going to be TSM with a nice play. They get the Drake, they get out, and nothing bled.
Yeah, I really want to compliment them, even though they are behind, taking that opportunity when the teleport is down on impact, so they know that they can actually break the dragon stacking. Here's another look at how it started, though, for Team Liquid, actually turning this around onto Bjergsen. Another great route here from Tactical. Keeps them in range in a dangerous scenario. And since Spica has not been able to get the transformation on Kayn, even though he goes in with the ultimate, he's so squishy when he comes out, they immediately take him down. Team Liquid are able to fight that front-to-back style they want to with a Ward Trundle front line here, pushing TSM back. An untransformed Kayn is not an equivalent front line there. There's not a lot to work off of, and since they can't get the timing down with the Taric ultimate, with the tragedy there, there's nothing for them to really fight on.
Well, we'll see how much they can catch up here. Spica sadly very far into the game, 9 minutes in, and hasn't been part of much PvP combat, so it looks like he's still just edgelord Kayn and not into full Darken yet. So You know, not getting a whole lot done. Doesn't have the healing, doesn't have the knockup. It's going to still take some time till he can get there. You know, the occasional hit on Jensen helps, but it's blue orbs, not red ones. So, though it can help because you can pick the transform, it doesn't get what you wanted right away.
Yeah, it feels so bad when you get your blue orb transformation and you're sitting there and you just really want to click it. And you're like, I just want some power now. But he pretty much got to wait the extra time here for the red one to actually come up. And looks like that's what they're opting to do since they're in a losing power negative situation anyway.
Yeah. I can't imagine him actually assassinating Tactical here. His items are a bit behind on level 10 right now. Some bot lane pressure coming in. Tactical takes up the sniper rifle and starts shooting it down. 1/3 HP left into this one. Here's the TP flank, though. This is maybe the fight. Good damage early on, though. TSM's at about half on a few members. Here comes the engage. Looks for the stun. Not going to find it. Huge deals. Tempered Fate locks down 3. Re-engage eventually towards Speaking. Good damage. Puts him at 1/3 health. And now Broken Blade is forced to flash away from the almost Shurima shuffle out of Jensen. But that means the top laner is nowhere to be seen until you'll have an easy 5v4 in the bottom lane. More poke. Not quite going to land. The recall safe from Speaking. Just barely goes back to base. And now here comes the fight. Doublet just gets deleted off of the map, and Team Liquid going to take down their 6th turret of the game.
Really like the delay on Core JJ's Bard there. He hits the Bard ultimate, which buys time for the teleport for Jensen to join the rest of the team. TSM knew that, all right, we got to take this opportunity. There's, you know, this extra few seconds advantage we'll have before Jensen can teleport down to Team Liquid. They can try and have a flank from Broken Blade, try and have a 5v4 team fight start. But with a Bard ultimate, catching that many members of Team Liquid, they can't press forward. Jensen's teleport does arrive, and they basically just turn on the flanker. Then Broken Blade is left by himself out there, gets 4 members to drive him down, and he has to flash out the other end, just completely putting a stop to even the small hope that TSM had there.
All right, well, Spica put in the Death Realm, but can't go any farther than this spot right now, and TL are grouping up to knock him down. Pillar's in a bit of a slow. There's the ulti, and Broxton just brings him right back into danger. Spica runs for his life, and with a stun from Bjergsen, might just live. And just barely, yes, gets away, so TSM will keep their jungler alive. But it is still a colorless Kayn, and that's going to feel really bad.
You got some extra orbs out of that one, but Team Liquid might get some extra purple out of that one as he's so low. He actually can't afford to go back. Team Liquid will start this Baron up. They've got everything in their favor, forcing TSM to come to them.
Yeah, good luck with this one. I guess the steal is possible. It's going to get picked up, though. That's Baron Nashor slain. And, ooh, that is already Kayn dropping. Spica wanted to steal, could not do so. It's time to run away. Double flashing over the wall. Then he flashed over 6 minutes ago. And already Tactical is here to kill his old teammate. Says, I'm in the starting roster now. Enjoy picking up more losses, buddy, as Biofrost is running for his life. But here it comes. The chase is in, the slow is landed, and there's not a lot you can do. Another kill picked up here for Jensen. Team Liquid absolutely crushing this game. A stun and impact will keep Bjergsen alive for a few more moments, but TSM's base might not suffer the same fate, as this is going to be it getting pressured right now. The wave's coming into the mid lane.
Yep, with Baron buff, I bet they just lay devastation here to the TSM structures. Looks like they're already sending impact over to start up the dragon to pick up where they left off, since TSM did slip in to break the dragon stacking, stealing away that Cloud Drake off of the reset. It is going to mean that there is a possible Dragon Soul coming up later for Team Liquid if they're unable to finish this one off. They still have almost 2 minutes left with the Baron buff for another push here, even after Impact was able to finish the dragon and get his recall.
All right, got a couple of angry cat faces. Maybe for Kobe one day, just sadly not today.
Ah!
Yeah! Quick recall comes through, and yeah, Team Liquid have almost everything they could ever need to win this game. The Unspikes come through. Phantom Dancer in for Tactical ensures that he's going to stay even safer against backline damage, and this is going to feel really comfortable.
Hot topic, Freak. Tactical here, doing really well for Team Liquid, as is the entire team. And they seem to be faring just fine after the star player's departure. Now with the Bard ultimate hitting Broken Blade, see if they can get the pick.
They get some damage. They get almost a slow. They force him to hop the ulti, which is not the worst thing ever. And with him not able to fight, they're going to knock down the bottom inhibitor turret. That one is gone. The inhib itself likely not to be defended. Some poke, though, not bad. Broxa chunked a little bit, but still not going to stop the siege. Inhibitor falls.
All right, 2 inhibitors down. Baron buff up for another wave and a half here as they can try and rotate up to join Impact. Jensen going to finish off that last minion wave, and then all you have to do, sweep everybody up close to these Nexus turrets, keep the buff on the minions, and they will do a lot of work for you.
Gosh, Speaker just cannot do anything. He's finally a red Kayn, but his health bar is as red as it's time to run away. Bifrost gets the shield, and it's not going to be enough. Tactical, unstoppable. Another kill to come through easily. There's the double over there. Impact has to kite away a little bit, but the turrets are falling all the same. TSM in under 25 minutes are about to lose their base. Team Liquid pushing in aggressively. What kind of team do you want to be? A winning one, and you have to believe as they knock down all these kills. One finally on the board for Kayn. A bit of vengeance there, but in 25 minutes flat, the Nexus falls, and Team Liquid are back to taking nades.
25 minutes, Freak.
Yeah.
We had 2 very strong victories here back to back. This one, not quite a perfect game, but Team Liquid with a vice grip on that game. Since the very beginning, that first Dragon Force by Broxa, did get decently low during it, but with the extra timing, with the pushing of their bottom lane, they decisively pick up the objectives. They chase down the kills afterwards, and this team looking very focused.
Yeah, they really are. And this ended up being a game that was certainly teamwork-based, to be clear. On a KDA scale, it was Tactical who was the highest when they were sieging the bottom lane. Probably throughout the rest of the game, but I wasn't completely certain. 100% kill participation, 0 deaths. He was a flawless Aphelios as far as I am concerned. You give him a pass.